Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another podcast episode. I know it's been a minute, almost a year now, Rad?
It
2.
has. It has.
It's been a while. But somebody was watching like old versions of the podcast and mentioned, hey, and then I'll put the comment here on the screen, that like the history of Sky is happening now because we had mentioned it in a previous like podcast where we were really just wanted a season where it was a deep dive into the lore of Sky. And we got it. This is it. The season of 2 Embers part 1. It's here. Never thought it would be a thing, but so of course we had to bring this back, the podcast, and finally schedules lined up again, and here we are. Hi, Red.
Here we are. Not too bad. Yeah, no, we should have got together ages ago, really. But this is
I missed
this is lunchtime my time. I'm sat in work, but I'm not in work because I've taken the day off.
Okay.
Just to spend the day off to spend with Josh. So this is ideal.
I love this. Just a day with Brad all day.
So it's interesting you say that this was supposed to be, this season was supposed to tell us the history of Sky. I guess we're going to have this discussion as to how much our prayers were answered by this season, and how much we still need to find out in part 2, and maybe part 3 and 4, and how many parts they're going to be. I don't know.
That's right. They did. That was a little confusing as far as that goes, but we'll definitely get into that. I guess we can go ahead and start out with like that first question that we sent you on here. So you experienced, the season, whether you actually experienced it through like articles or just watching the animation or, just kind of playing through the quests. How do you feel that having the animation alongside like the in-game quests and stuff, how did it feel for you?
I feel like, I don't know. I feel like it added some something extra to it because it allows a little bit more narrative content and the narrative to be directed in the way that when you're doing when you're doing it on in game, you kind of you can do the quest and you can spam through them and ignore everything that happens, or you can take it really slowly, or you can be with someone who's pushing you along. So I feel like in the game it added something. I will say I thought the bits that were added in the game made it far more interesting. I thought lots of the technical stuff that they were trying to try out in the new area was just really cool. So I thought that bit worked really well. The animation itself, I feel like I struggled slightly with the lack of dialogue, and we actually had to sit with and go through yesterday what was said by reading through what people have put together in the wiki, so we kind of like were able to remember the story a little bit more. I don't know if it's a problem that everyone has, but I guess I'm not super used to watching that kind of animation, so I feel like a bit more dialogue would have helped me.
That's completely fair.
So I don't know to what extent any of that answers your question.
No, that's fine. I mean, that was a lot of feelings for sure, as far as like, sharing how you felt. And I love this about like your perspective of Skyrad, because it's very much like you don't get into any beta content. You're not reading extra articles or, into any of the social media or doing like deep dives or anything like that. So it's kind of like you give that fresh perspective.
I'm seeing it as it comes to me.
Exactly. And that is just kind of like, okay, so was that how it was intended for people that had nothing to do with Sky? Like there was a lot of adverts out there for like the, I guess a lot of adverts that were like content creator, like Sky pushing out, about this season. Hey, join in now. You can now find like the lore of like this game and something like that, and so for you to give that perspective, I think is important. For me personally, it was like a little bit like watching a little bit more of like the social media aspect of it and going into articles and things like that. Was it what I had wanted when we were talking about it originally? I think we
Yeah,
were just kind of like shooting it, kind of being like, I wish there was more explanations as to like what happened in this kingdom.
yeah,
I
um,
I, I don't know if it did. I mean, it gave me a story of like a spirit. It gave me things that I
yeah,
knew already and that we had assumed.
yeah,
Something happened, some kind of darkness, was
yeah,
occurring.
yeah,
And we kind of saw a little bit of like what that civilization was, and I appreciated that
yeah,
aspect of it for sure.
yeah. But I still don't know if I. Well, no. Let me start with. Wasn't there some promotion like 2 years ago for this when they first started the idea? And I'm sure there was like images of people flying in boats and all this, and it felt like this was going to be like kind of stories of the Sky era in some way. That was what I was expecting anyway, and I don't know if I had that wrong or I'd seen the wrong thing or anything like that. Um, so the Nintendo Switch, I don't think it was after the Switch though. Um, I don't know. So anyway, my expectation was perhaps it wasn't going to be set quite in this time period. Um, uh, Perhaps particularly because I don't think I've got necessarily any investment in the characters yet. So the fact that they're all dying, it's like, well, I feel like it started quite late compared to what I was expecting. Um,
Okay.
so, um, so yeah, I don't know.
I
I,
It's completely fair.
I
I mean, that's fair. That's so fair because you go into it. There's music and visuals. And if you're not
yeah,
the type of person that's like, hey, I'm focusing on those visuals and things like that, and I'm
yeah,
really intent on like putting that story together, you're not gonna like you don't get it, right?
yeah,
And that's hard. That's hard for like an animation and stuff like that. So it
yeah.
was like, so I guess you kind of answered like the next question that I was going to ask, if it gave any kind of like insight to you in particular about like the history of Sky that you didn't already know from like stuff in game already that was available.
Like a little bit. I thought maybe not as much as again as I was expecting. I feel like they're telling a story here, and so I didn't feel like it was giving me like big lore drops. I like the I say I like the city, the lost city that we're in, and all that, and I like how that then eventually tied into this is what we see in Wasteland. And I thought
Yes.
that was quite cool. But in terms of like, I want to know who the Krill are. I want to know what their motivations are. I want to know like what those two characters that were speaking
Yep.
to each other like in the top of the temple. Who are they? What were they? And I get that one of them is kind of to do with the vault, and one is something. But like, I kind of wanted to know a bit more about like the background to Sky, and I see so much about this idea like that's said in remembrance that there's a war that happens, and there's two sides, and the people from Sky had two factions, one that wanted technology and one that didn't, and somehow they all die from their hubris. And like for me it's like I don't know where that was in what we watched.
Right.
I don't know if I picked up any sense of that. So
Right.
um
I guess that's
so
part of like the like why they split it into like two different parts, I feel like almost. Because
Mhm.
it's like you have like this first part from this story, but this story doesn't give you the whole thing.
Yeah,
Or at least none of the episodes I felt like went into that aspect of like that there was some kind of war that went on, but you don't
yeah,
know if this is what it was or
yeah,
like what led to that or told you the perspective of it, like in your case how you described it, like the krill side of it.
yeah.
And you're right. I don't think that this was meant to tell that side or
No,
or
but this
or
is what I
part
want
of
to
it.
know.
Yeah. Yeah, you're right. You're right. And
um,
I'm hoping that for like part 2,
yeah,
because there's going to be a second part of this because it's funny that they called it the two embers, that and that they're
yeah,
going to split it up into 2 parts, but It's just like TGC to make us, wait and find out more.
Do we even understand what the two embers refers to?
Honestly, it refers to those like main. I want to say that it refers to those two main characters, right? So like the main kid that they were following throughout the store that had the relationship with the manatee.
Yeah,
that's one.
Apparently, the orphan. It says that's called.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so then yes, correct. Yeah, I didn't read anything into like the wiki or whatever, and when I saw it, I caught like I didn't experience it fully yet either. It like back to back that kind of thing, and I need to do that because then I can get some more context into stuff like that. But from playing the quests and watching what I've watched on there, I did get the idea like this was one part of the like two embers or two main characters. I don't know which one it is though. I don't know if this is like the light or the dark side. You know what I mean?
Right. Okay. No, exactly. And so you think the second character is to come in the second part?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, okay.
Or maybe
because I didn't know if it was like
been introduced
the manatee
already.
and the boy, or
that's it. Coming from that perspective of like nothing about Sky, like who are the two embers? Like, is it this boy and the manatee, or is it?
It's
like...
the story of the boy and his pets. It's a way of seeing this that we've already seen, isn't it?
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know. There's a lot. I mean, I think what's positive is obviously, from a streaming perspective, it gives us good opportunity to speculate about what's happening and what may happen. And there was some stuff that might be quite easy to guess, and then there's some wild and wacky ideas that we can have as well that this is trying to tell us about. So it's positive, but I did think it's quite light compared to what I expected.
Okay.
The first 3 episodes quite exposition heavy. We sort of just like a lot of background information, and we're just trying to see kind of the city and what's going on and how light works and all these other things as part of the background to kind of tell us how it all works. And I think it's important to remember as well, even I know more than nothing. So the story does have to establish that you have candles and they create light, and somehow you've got the light is keeping the krill away.
So glad you brought that up, because it's just kind of like you never really got that as a part of the game. You kind of got it from maybe like the candle maker spirit, who's like actually friendly enough here in Isle. But you never really got like, okay, why is he making candles? What was the reason behind that? And you kind of get it in that like final cut scene, on part 4, where you're like, oh, they need the candles because there was some kind of like disease or something. So this one spirit decided to kind of carry like that legacy down, and you kind of make that little bit of a connection where it's just like, this is why your Sky Kid runs for candles, And so I did love that part of it. But like, as far as like more insight into like the war, or like like where the darkness came from all of a sudden, or anything like that. No clue.
No. And I say, for me, the most important scene is the one when they're in the tower, and it looks like and the two of them are kind of interacting with each other, but there's no real context to that interaction and what's said. And it's just like, for me, that's the key bit, and the key question is like, what's going on there in that relationship between those two characters? Is one of those characters saying that you deserve this, or something like that? This has happened because of your hubris. Is that what they're saying, or is it something completely different? I'm not sure, but that was for me the key bit that I'm really interested to find out.
We don't get. I guess we don't get that like other half of the. We don't get that other half of that, and that's very, 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 very like different, I guess, from like the typical things that like you kind of get a game. So did we get, like, I guess to go back to the question, did it like fulfill the answer of, did you actually get the lore from it? Did you actually get
I don't
more?
want to say no, but no.
Yeah,
That's-
yeah.
That's how I feel. I don't think it's bad. I think the music's good. I think it's interesting how they've done it. I think it is more challenging the way it's done for people like me, but some people like that stuff. But for me, I didn't get what I wanted.
Okay.
Silvos
That's
is
fair.
saying in my chat, we did get some lore, but
Yep.
for me, it's not the lore I wanted.
Okay. That's completely
So
fair.
my plan, you might cut this out of the podcast. I've been doing musicals in Sky, and I
Okay.
want to write Sky School musical, and it's going to be like a Romeo and Juliet story with the people on the one side of the law fall in love with the one on the other side of the law, and the two factions get together and true love wins. This is the story I want to write, and I need this. I need this
that.
two Embers to tell me that there's two factions and to give them names.
Okay.
So I feel like that's like my main disappointment. I don't know if anyone else's disappointment, but I need to tell the Sky love stories that Genova doesn't want to tell.
Right, because it's not about that exactly. What? Okay, so moving.
I didn't need much. I didn't need much from my fanfic.
Okay.
It was. Right. I just needed there to be a good guy and a bad guy. That was it. But at the moment, they can't fall in love with Krill. So I don't know.
Right. No, that's completely fair. So let's move on. Favorite parts of it could be any of the quests, could be any of like the animations. Maybe you had like a particular animation that you liked or were part of it. Go ahead, spill. Which one? What would you like?
Oh, the quests. I don't know. I love the area. I'm just trying to think. Like the cheeky prison bit where you get put in jail. I love that.
Oh yeah. Nope. I like
that stuff. But I mean, I've always liked it where it kind of shows more of a vibrant Sky world. Because when we play like we're playing now, if you look at the screen, it's kind of just us and sometimes there's a couple of others. But like I feel like the way that the area, like you've got that sense of community. There's people there doing their own stuff, playing some weird version of chess, and then you go up to them and you can interact with them. You can, if you do things, they respond. I think all that works really well for me, and I think that gives a nice vibe to the area. And as I say, the cherry on the top is the cheeky stuff, like the like being put in jail, and that you can interact with the manatees and that stuff. So I'd say for me, it's probably that element of the season that's been the most interesting and the most fun. We always like a new area, don't we? But
hey. Yeah, in Sky, yeah, for sure. As a matter of fact, let's go ahead and we'll meet you there, and then we can kind of like walk through it, and we can talk a little bit about like maybe some of the features that we saw, and then you can point out like your favorite, I don't know, your favorite stall or something, and I think that would be really cool. I think while we're getting that set up though, one of like my favorite things was definitely the spirit interactions. Like it. You brought up the point of, hey, this is typically when you're in Sky, you're in that space, right, where it's you're after the fact. You're in the after the fact after all this has happened. So to be able to brought back into like 500 years, and you find yourself almost in a like society that's thriving. You see you see like where these people like lived, you know what I mean? Like you see it active, you see it like alive. That definitely brings up a lot of hey, this is really cool. Like this was a world that was once, alive, and I don't know. I thought it was pretty, that part of it was pretty neat for me, I think.
And do I have to go with you for this, or
I think so, but I don't know if it's gonna.
Okay, I'll just walk.
So that way we can Oh, it's just gonna
I
bring.
forget the best way. I forget the best way to do this. Do we just enter any old one of the quests?
we're gonna do is go into. I think the best one is gonna be like the 5th quest to go into, because it kind of gives us a little bit of everything here. And that might be the best way to get it going. That hopefully we'll merge up here.
Yeah. So this would be nicer. So is it view this memory again and then?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Correct.
Okay. Yeah, it'd be nicer if there was a nicer way to get into this.
Oh, for sure. The 5th quest.
Maybe they'll
like
fix
the
that
area
afterwards.
as far as that goes. Yeah.
Yeah.
I was kind of hoping that the cape would allow us to just, teleport there, like the old cape, because it does have a couple of like fun features regarding like the 5th area, like the 5th quest and that like space or whatever when you're walking in there. But
hold on, I'm in Vault.
Yeah, it takes you to Vault. Yeah, no, you're in the
right. Okay.
Yep.
Okay. I'll wait for you. If you want to go to the past, use the lantern in the 1st floor of Vault. Oh, okay. Are you in here with me, Josh, or are we?
I see.
We split.
Let's go home. We might need to just go right into Vault from there then. Because I've been there once, but it was because I was doing the quest.
I mean, there has been a lot of content, to be fair.
Yeah.
When you add in Days of Sunlight and everything,
they added
there's
Days of
huge
Sunlight.
amounts of stuff.
The anniversary was going on. All of the quests are going on, and that part of it was definitely a little. I've been very overwhelmed, honestly, with the amount.
I know. I was going to say
out.
it can be overwhelming. On the other hand, I'd rather have a game
full with stuff versus like, hey,
that's got stuff.
Like
then we're going. That's nothing to do
Yeah.
today. All the quests are always the same. It's the same questions.
Yep.
Shall I wait for you here?
Yeah. Just wait for me there. I teleported over to you, so give me just a second here.
So Wonderball suggests this is the way to go.
Oh yeah. Yep. Absolutely. 100%. Yep.
So this is something new I've learned in this stream.
So this is going to be like, if you go here, it'll take us to that. Remember, I was mentioning it in your chat the other day where you were like, hey, just go through the 5th quest. But I didn't realize that, hey, it'd be as easy as like, hey, walk into Vault and go into that lantern,
Yeah.
So if you learn anything, if you want to go back to this area as fast as possible, Vault, lantern, got it. Cool. Great. We never said that we were professionals. Yeah, this area is amazing. So we were talking a little about how like all of this is like, it just feels alive. And the number one thing that I like about like this area and that I love about like this space is that all of this is the movie. Like we're in the space of the movie, and they ended up just kind of doing a really wonderful job of just kind of like recreating everything. So you can like walk through, you can step into like 500 years into the past and see everything of like how this world was supposed to be, in the past. And Sky has never felt more alive. Like in terms of like, there's NPCs, they're walking, they're playing the music, they're like interacting with each other, they interact with you, they're doing things like, hey, this dude's upset, and you might guess that maybe he might have like wanted to play and then didn't get to play because these two guys are playing, and I love it. I love every single bit of it. You can mess around with like some of the guards and honk with them and get yourself put in jail.
No, I think it's cool.
I just can't get enough of it, honestly. And it's like, I almost don't want to spend all my time here because I want to be able to like come in here randomly and then say, yes, I found something new today, so that way I can like continue to kind of explore.
These are playing their music. So let me say like a few things. They had a choice about how they could do the how they could do the movie, how they could do the animation, and they clearly had troubles in the production of that. It feels quite different from what we were expecting, etc., etc. But what they chose to do in the end was lean into the Sky side of things, and so we've created this kind of like go and visit the Walt Disney Studios.
Yeah, they
in
did.
The game kind of idea here. And I think that's worked really well. But also I think Sky is always trying to push like new gameplay elements. Some of them work and some of them don't. I feel like not all games have NPCs that are trying to interact with you properly and trying to be cheeky, and I feel like stuff like that makes it really cool.
Yeah.
They're clearly pushing the limits of the hardware. You can see that they look like triangle people in the distance, and they only pop in when you get a bit closer.
You know,
so I think it's really good for that.
That's really funny. I did not notice that detail. Because I did see someone just flicker in and out of existence over there in the background.
I think people call them windsocks in the background.
Okay.
But I think when we had so we had a session with TGC with their developers.
We did,
and they said the way this is designed, there's a lot more tricks going on than you have in a normal Sky realm. And apparently things around the back, I'm kind of looking around the back, are much more 2D and much more empty than they would be in another game, to allow for, did they say up to 500 NPCs? There was some ridiculous number they said they could implement if they wanted to.
I don't remember. I mean, like, I don't really remember as far as that goes, but I know that they were really excited about all of this. Even going up to the guard and him kind of saluting you. I don't think he's gonna do anything. Oh, never mind. That's interesting. So, Brad's gone to jail.
I'm in jail. Are the guards? So this is the story stuff, though. Okay.
Yeah.
Are the guards on our side, or are they just and just protecting us, or are the guards protecting Dr. Evil who lives in that cave? These are the things that the story hasn't told me. And like you say, just there,
these particular guards.
Well, in assuming these guards are the same ones that are in the game, we just walked up to that guard and he saluted you and said hi. But also, I messed about with him and he put me in jail. So which side is he on? I don't know the answer.
Hey, he put you in jail because you were messing around with him. So
yeah, but if I shout, I don't know what it's like in the US, but if I shout boo to a police officer, he doesn't send me to jail. So I don't know. The vibe in the story is that the guards are kind of shutting the everyday plebs out.
Yeah. He's on the side of whoever tells him what to do, really.
Whatever's going on. I was saying on stream last night, I see this as like Austin Powers movie, and it's like inside that light area, inside that mountain, Eden is Dr. Evil. And he's got his secret plan that needs all the power in the world. You know what?
Maybe that's the perspective that they haven't shown us, is that side over there. I think honestly, this bit of it, because like I guess we're going into the place where like the first quest kind of took place and the second kind of quest took place as well too. Like being able to kind of like walk in here and see the marketplace and kind of like interact even with, as a part of the quest, some of the stalls. You can kind of see like, hey, they're really tending to like the shopkeepers here. And the one thing that I kind of want to point out is that like when you're first here, you have no cape. You have no cape. You can't fly. You can't do like any of the things that you normally would do in the game, and you're restricted.
Oh, I hadn't realized this. Okay.
We purchased the ultimate, like the season pass, and got the old cape. Notice that the characters will interact with you differently versus something, and that's something that I wanted to point out is that amazing. People are like, they're all respectful. They will like, you can still see them have like, hey, there's a sickness running through the village because that's part of the story. But even this guard, look at him, he's saluting you as he comes up because they respect the cape. They respect that like you are a part of, something powerful now. And it is so different. It is so different to be able to like kind of like walk in. And if you haven't already and you happen to have the cape, you know, make sure that you kind of like explore around, you know, and see the differences yourself. But like, because we're wearing the capes, like you'll see a lot of the villagers that you will go up to them, they'll give us a bow.
Yeah.
You know, they're saluting, they're like doing all those kinds of things. And it's very nice and interesting and definitely new for sure.
Absolutely. This should have been where we did the podcast, should we? We could have just
sat here,
zoomed us in here.
Yep, exactly.
Coffee talk with Rad and Josh.
That's
or
okay.
Whatever.
That's completely fine. We're still getting a minute of it, so that's okay. We're still getting like a little bit of it. I kind of want. We always do this as far as this goes, and we're kind of like 30 minutes into it. Or at least the recording, as far as how long I've been recording. Did anybody in the chat maybe wanted to point out something or have any questions that maybe you want to kind of like ask that maybe we could discuss or talk about? Because after this, what's going to end up happening is that we're just going to kind of go into like the different other features that I see. I know we started going into it a little bit because I wanted to talk about this a little bit towards the end. But I did want to open it up that if anybody that's over in Rad's chat right now, this is being recorded while Rad's live over on Twitch, have any things that they wanted to point out, see any questions that maybe you kind of want to like kind of hear from us. And then for the next podcast, you know, we'll probably do something similar. So make sure to go ahead. And if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button. Make sure to go follow Rad over on socials. Rad's also on YouTube. So make sure that you go ahead and hit that subscribe button to follow, you know, hit that notification so that we can do that. So we appreciate you very much for, you know, doing this with me, Rad. And I appreciate you, viewer, for, you know, being here and watching. So thank you. All right. Yes. Thank you. Thank you. Where did you wander off to?
I'm exploring the rest of these.
Okay.
There's like people have set up shared spaces. As you say, I think the game didn't advertise the idea that come back and see all this stuff a bit more, but it is different. I say I went in that shared space there, I think where you are.
Yeah.
I was going to set up my own DVD store over here.
Oh, yep. Rad's Thrifts.
Yeah, this is right. Look, hold on, Nick. I'm not quite sure I've got it right. Here we go.
Where'd you wander off to? Oh, you're all the way up there. Okay.
I'm in a spare space.
Okay.
I'm just trying to get the game to show me a prompt. You know what it's like.
Oh yeah. If you put that up on top of the barrel, you'll be fine. There's a glitch with the with that right now for like taller Sky Kids. So if you put it up on the barrel, it'll give you the thing or an item. It doesn't have to be the same.
Ta-da!
There you go. All
right. Silvos has got a question.
Silvos, what you got? Oh, I have no idea what's going on. Hello?
Silvos says, I'm curious as to why we can light candles when we pull them out. But she wasn't able to light it unless she had a fire source. Yeah. Oh, yes.
I'm curious as to why we can light candles when we pull them out, but she wasn't able to light it unless she had a fire source.
So in the story,
mm-hmm.
When the manatee is dying in the animation, the orphan pulls out the the candle that they've made and can't light it. But
that's completely right.
In modern times, we've invented auto lighting candles.
Yeah, we're built different. I want to say that honestly, like a future Sky Kid is definitely built different because not even the spirits are able to do that at the time either. Not even the like current spirits either can't really light anything without your help either, because and I think that's what makes us as players like a little bit different. You know, like as us the players, we are like the generations moving forward, you know. that came included with candles that like auto light themselves. You know, like we were definitely given this mission to be like, hey, go light the darkness like in the world and find out what happened.
Yeah.
You know, and I think that that's completely interesting to kind of see the development of that. I think it's a little bit more into like what we were talking about earlier, like that part of that lore. Like we might not know how we got to where we were at right now with us being able to auto light the candles, but we did know that candles come from compacting light particles together now. You know, and what they used to use the articles before. And I think that's I think that's pretty cool. I love that we're able to kind of interact with some of these spirits.
So is this all the games?
Yeah.
The shell game.
This is a shell
See,
game.
I hadn't seen this. Again, like you say, there's so much going on in Sky at the moment. We did a 3-hour stream like on last night. I didn't come back to any of this.
Okay. That's fair.
Am I going to try it?
I'm trying it.
Douche,
I'm trying it right now.
Douche. I didn't even look.
That's really funny because I was like,
I guess it's going to be one of them.
I got mine. It gives you wax. It gives you candles.
Surely it's the middle one. Oh, so close.
Which one was it for you? Oh,
it was the left for me.
You got the left one. Okay, that's fair.
Funny. Do you want to go to the calming area?
The calming area? What do you mean? Oh, yes. Okay. You're
the
so
hospital,
right.
as someone described it.
You're right. So at the beginning in the first quest, you were kind of like, well, people are lined up in this room, you know, and wait, where are you going all the way over there?
I'm just saying this is an example of where there's nothing built out, where you can't see.
That's completely fair. And now you can kind of see it as a Sky Kid because you're like, oh, now you've got a kid. Yeah. Yeah, it's so interactive, but then you get to the edges of the map and it's just like, there's nothing there. Yes, so when you get through to over here, and we might not be able to, we might need to go through the door. Yeah, we might need to go through the door.
No, does it not like us for doing this?
No, it does not like us for flying.
Oh, no! Where was this lore in the game?
Right. Where you can fly around and then I went through the door like the other way and it kind of brought me out, so that's really funny.
Okay. Maybe we should report that as a bug. Here we are.
Okay. So
that's so cool that they've made it a play area. Sorry.
Yeah. No, you're fine. I mean, this is all about that. So you might have seen like this line at some point in time where like they seemed like characters that were like sick and stuff and whatnot. The other feature of like the old cape, or if you have a friend that has like an old cape, you can hold their hand and you're allowed access. And Sky and their wisdom also put like the symbol of the cape there as well. So you can kind of like walk in here and see what they've put in here. And I don't know if this is meant to be like I don't know if this is meant to be like the medical space or something like that. But every 20 minutes, as far as that goes as well too, you'll see the Vault Elder come in and she'll like bless this space, so to speak, and you see like this like almost cutscene. And in between that time, you can kind of just walk around here and you're getting, you know, idle wax as well in here. So, I mean, it's kind of really cool to be able to see this space like this and finally see the inside of this, because it definitely was one of those things that I was wondering, like, what's in there? You know, why are they lined up? I was
expecting this to take me to Vault exit. You know, sorry, really? Wasteland exit, yeah.
Okay.
Because that sort of looked like what it was going to be like in the animation, and I hadn't got it quite right. But as I say, I don't feel like anywhere told me to even try to go in here.
Oh,
so I hadn't. And then I walked in with the cape, and I was like, wow.
Yeah, And you're right. Like, you're kind of wondering like what the heck is in here, because the animation, everything else. So like to see that this is one of the differences of like the animation versus like this space. I believe you can only get into that part of like back into the Wasteland part of it, as far as like inside that temple for Wasteland, when you are playing that quest. The one where you're helping, I think it's the third one, I want to say. It's the third quest. So I did like that quest. That when I was like viewing like that quest on there, I also was very, very surprised by the end of it. I was,
in the sense of,
I was surprised that at the end of that quest, you kind of were like, oh, I'm back in Wasteland Temple. And that's where I am. I'm in Wasteland Temple right now. And
it took me a minute.
That statue place where like you're at the end or whatever, that we presumed was always like the Vault Elder, is that spirit, the scarred soldier, they named him. So if you like look it up, you find out that graveyard marker or whatever is for that scarred soldier for standing up, and it's his spear that like we get to have as an item, and it's his shield that, you know, is laying there as well too, that you kind of helped him on that quest. And that just was like blew my, I don't know why it did, but it just like blew my ever-loving mind, and I just was like, no way, whoa. And to be able to kind of like see that part of it, I was glad to kind of see that there was an element of, hey, you were 500 years in the past, now we're kind of in the future again, here's what this looks like, and here's where you were. It kind of broke the illusion that I was in the past, and in such a way that I wasn't expecting, and so it was really, really good.
The shield stuck in my mind, because obviously you go back into nowadays, as it were, and the shield is there on the, you know, at the temple, at the end of the temple, and I was there like, has that shield always been there? Is that what we've always seen? And everyone was like, yeah, that's always been there. And I thought it was really nice the way they tied that through, as you say, with all that. I thought that was that bit was done really well.
It was amazing.
It took me ages to convince myself that I was actually back in nowadays Wasteland.
That was it. I guess that was part of the shock that I had as well too. It was kind of like, hey, like, I'm here. Am I here? Am I still in the past? Like what? Where am I? Like what? You know?
Yeah.
And
it took me a second.
I couldn't believe it, and it did. You're right. It did take me a second to kind of like reorient myself, and I'm like, I'm back in Wasteland, and to like walk out the door again. You know, I would go back to that area where like the multiple krills are, and it's just kind of like, oh, that's scary. I think these two Sky Kids want to come and sit here.
They can sit there. This place has got Roman bath vibes to me. You know,
it does. With the like the trees and everything. Yeah.
Because I was thinking like people go to Lourdes in France to bathe in the holy waters, and it's supposed to heal them. And really? I guess this is kind of. Well, I don't know what it looks like because I've never been, but this is what that feels
funny.
Like.
Somebody actually put a bath in the middle of that.
To bathe in the holy waters, but the guys round the side that are just, well, they've moved now, but that are just kind of like, you know,
waiting there,
having an old fashioned sauna, you know.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that this space is pretty great. You really won't see like the cutscene if you stay here. I think you have to go out and then come back in if it like passes that certain particular like 20-minute mark. And I don't know if it's every like 20 minutes in terms of like, hey, hour, then 20 minutes, then 20 minutes from there, an hour. But maybe we can give it a try to kind of catch like that little cutscene there.
Back in one more time. So did you say if you hold hands with one of the people in the queue, they take you in? Was that?
And if you hold hands with someone that had the cape, they can take you in.
Oh, just if someone's got the cape.
Yeah. Yeah. So, I mean, you don't necessarily have to have it. So, like, if you're watching this and you're kind of like, well, how do I get in there? I wasn't a part of like the season. So, obviously, I'm not going to have like that cape. There's still a way to get in. You just got to find a friend that has a cape. Like all the, these particular capes that are locked behind, all these special areas that are locked behind with like capes that you had to have. The other kind of like special thing that I really appreciate that they put into the game, and I think the cutscene might happen here in like 4 minutes or so maybe I'll have a little bit of chance to kind of talk about this, is you kind of needed this particular interaction with the manatee afterwards. After getting through like the story, the fourth quest or whatever, and I don't want to like kind of just outright and say it in case you haven't like done it yourself or anything like that. Maybe you're kind of like curious as to like what the story is. I'll let you experience that for yourself. I'll just say that this coming over here to like the corral and being able to, say, hey, here's the like manatee. And then you have the different interactions of, hey, you can tell the manatee to sit. You can give manatee some pets, and then being able to kind of just like give it a cuddle, even as well too, is just one of those things that, or like a belly rub there. It's just one of those things that is very, very healing that Sky does. Yeah. Because this season really just kind of just tore your heart right out. If you were, even if you weren't in it for like, I know we're talking about like the history of like the realms, we're talking about like the history of like the interactions of the features and all that. But it's kind of fun to be able to go ahead and do all of that, be able to interact with the manatee afterwards. It was very healing and nice of Sky to do. And then he follows you around afterwards. So if you didn't know that, like, and you just want like a manatee to follow you around, so you can kind of give him pets wherever.
It's so cute.
If you ever wanted a pet in Sky, here it is.
I see them as like trying to do all these different things, and they're trying to build the animation, they're trying to do the story, but they're also trying to take forward, like, answer this question that they've always been trying to answer, which is like, what is gameplay? What can it be? Does it just have to be pew-pews, or can it be something else? And I feel like and this is part of that, I feel.
It's very much like a game that is telling you through a story, and then also giving you the way to kind of work through something like that. And I feel like this space is just filled with all of that, right? Like the fifth quest is very much not another part of 2 Embers or anything like that, because 2 Embers is only 4 parts. But the fifth quest is very much like, here's where you can heal. Here's where you can play, interact with the spirits. They added in like more of the shell games. Like they added in like over there at the beginning, like you can race with one of the spirits. You come in here and come to like where I'm at right now, and you can kind of play Skyball. And kind of make it seem, and bring your friends here almost, and have like an audience, and that's really cool. And that's different. It's different from any other season, because when you say goodbye to the spirits in a lot of the seasons, it's very much, that's it, we're done. Like you do the spirits here, and then you move on. And you move on. And so it's like, it's fun to be able to kind of come back to this and kind of explore that. But I'll open up to you, Rad. Did you have maybe anything that you wanted to ask or talk about that we didn't cover as far as that goes?
Well, no, I've come in here just to see if your cutscene happened at
did it happen?
hour, but it didn't.
No,
I don't know.
Okay. I don't know I don't know the timing of it, but I don't know the timing of it. I know it's like on a 20-minute rotation though, for sure. And I just don't remember like if it's at the top hour 20 minutes or is it like a little bit after. Because I know Sky like times things really weirdly for like events and stuff. Oh, I've got it. Go out and go back in.
Oh, you got it.
Yep. It's the strangest thing to be able to like kind of like experience this cutscene. It's very cinematic.
Oh, I've got it.
You got it. Okay.
Or at least I've got some cutscene that I didn't have previously.
Yes. Yep.
Yeah, here we go. Oh, yeah.
So like you see like Bolt Elder coming in, your Sky Kid's kind of like staring as well too, being like, what's going on? Hey, what's going on?
Wow.
It's amazing. It's really, really great.
They've kept this so secret.
They did. I don't know if there is anything in the patch notes or anything like that.
I don't even feel this room is in the patch notes.
Nope. They kept this area so secret, and I know for a fact, like content creator wise, there was a lot of folks that were maybe catching this space, and it's, you know, Sky Kids being Sky Kids, they're like ooping in this space. If you walk to the middle of the room after your cutscene, you kind of get a little bit of another cutscene as well too.
Okay.
To kind of like get an idea. I don't know if it's meant to be there, but I mean, it's there. And it's, I believe it's the same, like you'll have to stand there for just a little bit there. And I don't know if it'll actually do it for you or not. Maybe it's just my thing, but I've caught it. I don't know. I just think that it's so different. Or to kind of continue the story, they were letting us know that like they're, for us not to like, as like a part of the troop, they were like, you can't like show this area or go into that Uber or anything like that because it's not meant to be shown until after all it's all said and done.
Right. So people were finding it in the Uber and then they went, yeah.
People were finding it by like Ubering around because Sky Kids will be Sky Kids. It's fine. It is what it is.
Yeah.
But they were like, hey, you know, just so you know that this is there. We won't tell you any of the details or anything like that. But please don't make content on how to get there or anything like that because it's meant to be something that's like, this is for after. You know, this is for...
and it was a surprise. It was a surprise for me.
Yeah.
And it was like, and to say, because it is Sky, but it's not Sky. It's kind of just got a slightly different vibe. Obviously, it's got the activity.
Yeah.
But yeah, the feel is just slightly different.
Yeah.
So that was cool.
Yeah. And I...
we were hoping we could make this into a Christmas tree at Christmas at the end here.
Oh my God.
We'll all dress up as baubles or something.
That would be really cool, actually.
that was my additional content.
That would be really good.
But in terms of what would I add? What would I change? I mean,
yeah.
My thing is just with all of this, how can TGC communicate through the game and through the movie with me in the way that lets me a little bit more into understanding what's going on without necessarily spoiling it completely? Like in terms of this room, it's like, what's the hint that told me to come back to this area? And it's like, I don't feel there was enough saying to me, this whole area is now for you to explore and there's some secrets or whatever. I didn't have that reason to come back. And the movie's just a little bit the same. It's just like, you need to hook me just a little bit more than you have. Because I know you like to be mysterious and you like to be weird and, oh, there's this going on and but I can't, you just need to say, why do I care about this orphan and this guard and this Krill and this Vault Elder? I need to, other than the pretty music and the nice visuals, I just, that's my question to TGC is how can you make me just want to engage with this? Yeah, a little bit more without it spoiling. And clearly, again, they're clearly trying something because they could have done this with full dialogue and they could have had text underneath the screen all the time in the game saying, oh, you know, why not turn right and try out the new Roman bathhouse? You know, it's
turn right and try the Roman bathhouse is wild.
You know,
that's so wild. Okay, that's fair.
So they could have done that. But yeah, so it's like, I don't know, that would be my feeling. And I know they want us to make up our own stories around it. And I know that's part of why they don't say anything. But maybe it's time to say something.
Yeah, that's fair. That's very fair. That's very fair for sure.
Sky School Musical is going to be the best fanfic musical you've ever seen. And they need to just give me enough lore to make it.
I'll be sure, we'll be sure to advertise it, and then when the time comes, we'll make a whole podcast.
That would be amazing. Actually, we'll do like write it, we'll perform it, and then we'll do the behind the scenes podcast.
Behind the scenes podcast, yeah.
I was like, oh, I really struggled with this note here, this. Yeah.
I think it'll be really great. So I mean that kind of leaves it up and to a point where it's like we got a good hour in as far as that goes. Any final thoughts? How like now that we've kind of like talked about it a little bit, I don't know if you might have like gained anything from it by exploring the space and kind of like seeing a little bit more of it. But
I didn't know I could fly.
Oh, okay, cool. Yeah. I didn't know either. I didn't realize that like I put on the cape because I knew like this space existed, but when I was exploring it, I definitely was like, oh, like someone had to tell me. So this is us telling you essentially, hey, you've got the old cape and you go visit the old area. Yes, you're gonna keep your cape. This is the only cape in the game that you keep. It doesn't matter like where you're at. So if you're wanting to really explore truly this area and you happen to have the old cape or a friend that has the old cape, if you're watching this in the future, and then you want to kind of explore, this is probably going to be the best way to go ahead and do that and explore those areas that like were a little bit challenging to kind of get to when you don't have it, and you're just trying to jump around and parkour everywhere. I guess to summarize everything, honestly, the things that I liked a lot, I like this lore season a lot. Did we answer the question of like, did it give you the full story? No, it didn't. Is there still questions out there? Yeah, there is. Obviously, there's still a part 2. So it's kind of hard to say, hey, this is going to be like, this is it. And so I think that overall telling like the story of Sky, through the story of like the orphan and the manatee, was definitely a good way of kind of putting it out there to share everything. And maybe, there isn't a whole lot of buy-in or anything like that, but I'm hoping that like with the part 2, we get to see a little bit more, a different side that we didn't experience.
So just one question then for you though, is like, as someone who perhaps has seen the lore and has discussed stuff and has done all the oobs in the world and seen all did it add more things for you than perhaps it added for me? Were you like, okay, this fills in some squares on the board?
I think we were on the same page. The only things that it really filled in for me were definitely like, oh, hey, this is how candles are. But it did leave those other questions. Where's the other side of this? Like I know there's 2 sides because you go to Wasteland right now, right? And you can see on like the leftover things of the soldiers, you can see the leftover things on the soldiers, like the shields, the spears, some of the spirits as well from like that other vault season that they added on recently. I think it was Remembrance. Mm-hmm. There's 2 symbols on some of these items.
Yeah.
You get that diamond. And you see the diamond relevant here in the story. A lot of the guards that you see walking around and stuff like that, they're wearing the diamond, right?
So the big thing is that the diamond face is revealed, isn't it, in the 4th?
Yeah.
In the 4th chapter.
It is.
I don't know what that means.
Supposedly is some kind of like royal or something, or we're supposed to perceive them as the royal. That there's another whole other side to this. There's symbols in Wasteland and stuff, and the shields where you see like almost like the sun. And I don't know if that's supposed to be like a different interpretation. I don't know. But overall, to kind of answer your question, where are the 2 sides? I did get left with that. I did get the idea of like, hey, it kind of confirms some of the things that like I already knew to be true. This society at some point had taken advantage of way too much of the light that they were given. You know what I mean?
Keep speaking.
They were taking advantage of like all like compacting things, and they were kind of like I think the child that ultimately made the candle
Yeah.
was like, here's something that we can do to naturally go ahead and heal, and it's built into like the already existing like system and ecosystem, like the natural world. And because we're taking advantage of everything, and you get that cutscene where they're like setting the statues down and they absorb all the light and all that, that was to tell us and to show, hey, that was to tell us and to show that this society as is 500 years ago is very much, they're taking advantage of all of that to go ahead and move forward their like society and move forward their stuff. And we kind of get the idea that at the end, they have so much of it that the king, it finally is like almost power hungry. And then you get that cutscene with the Krills. Like, and I'm like, rightfully so. You're doing something bad with like the natural world, you know?
But I still didn't know whether they were gonna inevitably die anyway, because there's only a limited amount of light and they're using it up. And if they use it fast or if they use it slow, they were gonna die anyway.
Right.
And so there was this thought of, at the end, they're inevitably going to try and save the light for the most important people and let the poor people die. But that's that's kind of expected explanation for me. So it's kind of like, or is it that the light can regenerate and they didn't let it regenerate enough, and that let the Krills in?
Honestly, yeah. Honestly, that's what I'm thinking, is that it was just kind of like one of those, like, there's almost like this environmental concern with like the consumption of just consumption in general. Yeah. And
it doesn't matter what the technology is.
Yeah.
It's just consumption. Yeah.
Yeah. And I like that, like, those themes are being put into a game, that I'm actively playing. It's just kind of like another, you really don't want to get that. And it really doesn't kind of put it in your face either. You kind of have to really take a step back and kind of take a look and be like, hey, something bad happened because they were taking advantage of the world's natural resources, right? There's light everywhere, and it existed everywhere through the creatures in the ground, in the soil. It would naturally grow the things. And you kind of get that idea as you're playing through the quest, right? By the second quest, where you're picking the seeds and putting them on the vines, and you get that whole like time lapse of like the plants growing and stuff. You get the idea that like that is life itself, that is healing. And you finally get that idea in the final cutscene where it's just kind of like that he's passing the candles around. You know what I mean? Yeah. But I mean, ultimately for me, that's what it added. It gave me that confirmation that, this is the idea. That's true. Yeah.
No, and there's definitely a strong interpretation that has resonance in the real world. I'd probably still argue at this point it doesn't have to be the explanation. I feel like there's other things that they could introduce. There's curveballs that they could throw.
100%.
There's a whole Sky Children of the Dark game that's yet to be written, that tells us all about what's the motivation on the other side.
I mean, this one, I was like, it's kind of hard to tell, right? Like, because you kind of get like little cutscenes where something happened tragically. And, is this the dark side?
Yeah.
Is that, because at the end, you're kind of like, you're seeing, and then he's got that shard in his hand.
Yeah. No, absolutely. Ultimately, we destroyed our world. So are we the baddies? Are we the bad guys? So there's a lot of things. There's a lot of directions to take.
Yeah.
And
guess we'll find out.
It's quite. Well, it's quite good. Well, I guess we probably won't.
I guess it is for our interpretation.
It is for our interpretation, and Silvos is more saying that Krills and machines are more an invention, so there's not a dark side. It's just and we even talked about, did the king invent the Krills to punish the population or something? There's like a whole load of different options that you could think about.
Yeah,
that they're not just naturally in nature. but somehow this was a punishment.
See that?
That's being meted out.
Yeah. I do see that aspect of it, like nature trying to fight back or something.
Yeah. Corrupted fish.
Someone sometime was like, I'm going to take all your light from you and see what happens. And then krills are created or something.
Yeah. So there's loads of different ways it could go. And maybe that's the next fanfic we write after Sky School Musical.
Exactly.
Kitsu says, how sad would it be if the krill were once actually light dragons but got corrupted with evil? That's how I always felt, and I know I'm wrong, but when we see the whale at the end of the of Eden that flies off, I've always thought of that being the krill that has the whale that's the white whale that's jumped out of the krill, and that's the redemption at the end of time. I've always seen it as that, and I've always known that that's wrong.
Never changed.
But that's always been how. That's how I've always liked to see it. So like that idea that the krill are corrupted light dragons is very much to my, or enslaved light dragons even.
Okay, that's fair.
They just want to kiss us.
Yeah, 100%. 100%.
Aurora song in Wasteland, You Cannot Eat Money, is all about people destroying themselves with greed, depleting the Earth's resources. Yeah. They brought the darkness on themselves. They may well have done.
Honestly, you're right. Yeah, they might have, as far as that goes. And it's kind of like, it's interesting. There's something to be said too, that like I was kind of hearing a little bit around like during the season, out there, that like does that make Aurora stuff, like music and stuff, canon, or is Aurora stuff separate from in-game? Maybe another podcast to kind of talk about. Now that we've got a little bit of a lore season, but it's difficult to kind of point out.
It must be canon because the songs are in the game. It's not just that.
You're right, but is it canon in its own like piece and stuff like that, and not real to like what it truly happened?
I feel like Aurora was like a songwriter, Sky Kid, writing about what was going on,
writing out the lore,
like with a lyre or something like that,
right?
And she would sing these songs, and she was commenting on what she saw.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay. Yeah, and then she sang the closing credits.
Afterwards. Yeah, that's fair. That's completely fair.
Cool. Hi, Ivy.
Hi. How's it going?
I don't want to waste your whole day, Josh.
No, you're okay. I know that you said that you had like some stuff as well to do. And there's a Nintendo Direct that I want to watch happening right now as well too. But I appreciate you for, taking the time. I know that we have the whole day to record, but I think calling it here, we're at about an hour and 9 minutes now, which is normal size podcast for us. So it was a good time, Rad. Thank you for coming, and thank you for watching.
Thank you for probably hosting and coming up with the questions.
We went into this together, so I hope to kind of like make another one for like the part 2 of this, or whatever else comes next for the next season, because I don't think that part 2 is going to be after this for sure. I think there's going to be something else. So I appreciate you guys.
It's going to be a while.
Yeah. I appreciate you guys for being here. And for those of you, just so I can have this recorded, thank you today for watching. I really appreciate you guys. You guys are amazing, awesome, beautiful, wonderful. If you enjoyed the content, guys, thank you. Please hit the subscribe button, hit the follow button, support us on our individual creator journeys. We like to say that we're the face of Sky, so to speak.
The face streamers of Sky, yeah.
We'd like to imagine that maybe one day that'll be true, and you can help make that dream come true if you bonk that subscribe button, hit that like on this video. And I really, really appreciate you guys so much. This will be up for people to watch if you're here in the stream over on the YouTube. I'll, edit a few bits here and out, but I'm thinking that we got a good shot of this, and it was really fun to kind of get in the back of the swing of things. Fun, yep. So thank you, Rad. I appreciate you.
Thanks, guys. Thank you.
Until next time. Goodbye.
Bye.
Bye.